Oops, wrong one. This one. Sorry. Red Mages. Aren't you glad I didn't beat this game last night? So now you can watch me struggle with it some more. Red Mages. I'm back and we've got to play more Burai Fighter. Oh boy. And I'm not looking forward to it. Oh boy. The damn last stage. The damn last boss in this game. On easy mode is out of control. Yeah, I bet you did. You didn't miss much of anything. I mean, I gradually was kind of learning some strategies against the boss, but even with the correct strategies, he's like a totally messed up, really crazy hard final boss. This is like R-type level difficulty. I had no idea this game was so hard. Insane. It's insanity. By the way, your lives are irrelevant in this stage. One of the really annoying things about easy mode in this game is that it gives you more lives, which is just a complete hindrance and nuisance because... No, wait a second. Actually, hold on. Let me kill myself. Because the checkpoint for that final boss is worthless. It's worthless. Got power-ups. Actually, I'm not even sure if that's... Like, I think the main thing that you... Here's the thing that I've been realizing is that I'm not sure if this is the case with the other weapons, but at least with the ring, seemingly with the laser as well. Like the thing that's really fucked up about this boss is your weapons don't seem to matter. Like it seems like only the normal shot does damage. That's why it's so hard to hit him. Even the ring passing through him, like it's doing no damage. I also looked up and confirmed what I suspected, which is that the bombs don't damage bosses. Like, what the fuck is up with that? How can they make the boss so unreasonable and then have the bombs do no damage? The bombs do no damage against the boss. Still useful for just clearing away his shots, though. So it's still good and important to have bombs for this stupid final boss. I don't know what this suggested, but apparently the bosses may have weak... Dude, I'm gonna look it up right now. Apparently, I don't know. I didn't look at a game facts guide for this game. I wonder what it says. The weapon system makes no sense. It could be like Ghosts and Goblins where only a specific weapon damages a boss. I know the bombs don't damage it. Why would bombs not damage bosses? It's so stupid. So stupid. See what it says for the final boss here. Slime Dragon. Mr. Liolo. How's it going? Thank you. I've done a little bit of research in this game. It's kind of a messed up game. I had no idea this game was so difficult. Bombs don't damage bosses. This is a really difficult final stage with the one-hit deaths. But the main thing is just that the boss is totally unreasonable with the one-hit deaths. And you don't get a checkpoint for him, which kind of doesn't matter anyway, because power-ups don't seem to affect the boss. Only your base shots affect him, and bombs don't affect him either. Although bombs are still needed for clearing out his shots to, they're still... Because it's a long and drawn-out fight. So the bombs are helpful. But it sucks that they don't damage the boss. Like, that really sucks. But the thing is that you do need speed. Like, his shots are really unreasonable the way they home in on you. You really need speed to dodge them. So for that reason, I think the checkpoint is worthless on the boss. You don't have enough chance to collect enough speed ups. The funny thing is, like, there's some interesting stuff in this game. There's secret rooms you can enter, which are really weird because they seem to be based on the difficulty. We discovered one in the last stream where, like, you're in and I know where that is now. Like, there's 10 different secret rooms, but you can only access specific rooms on specific difficulties or something like that. So that's really weird. That's kind of annoying. Like, I wish you could access secret rooms regardless of difficulty. But the one that we found just happened to be accessible on easy mode. So that's weird. I think if you play in hard mode, the final stage has actually a shortcut to the final boss, which is interesting. But I'm not sure if that would really be useful because, like, you need to have maximum speed ups at least. Probably the little orbital thing is useful as well. I don't know. I mean, it probably doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so here's what it says about the slime dragon. This boss can only be damaged diagonally, making the missiles useless. Make sure to bring at least the ring weapon or preferably laser. But I'm almost positive the ring weapon does not... That sounds wrong to me. I'm almost positive the ring weapon doesn't damage him. I was watching my shots go through him over and over again, and the only time I'm damaging him is when the normal shots. And if you watch TMR's playthrough where he uses the ring weapon, like I'm pretty sure you can see the same thing. It doesn't seem like the rings do nothing. The TAS uses laser, so I'm wondering if maybe the laser actually can damage them. Maybe I should switch to laser and just give that a try, because I don't think the rings are doing nothing. The rocks that the boss fires are indestructible. That's bullshit. They can be destroyed by your bombs, at least. Well, this guide is just wrong. So what a worthless guide. Okay, another worthless strategy, like game facts guide. Wait, okay. I'm gonna try to switch to laser. And just see if that seems any different, but I mean the guide does say preferably laser. Like also the TAS uses laser. I can't tell if it's actually damaging the boss, but maybe it is. That's not the laser. Alright, guys, here we go again. We'll see how long... I mean, I think I sort of have an idea of what to do on the boss, but... But I mean, like, it's a really crazy final boss. He takes... This is easy mode, and probably it's because the weapons don't seem to work on him for whatever reason. Which maybe is not the case with the other bosses. I don't know. It's like, maybe it's even a glitch. I don't know. It's really weird. Perhaps the laser does work, and it's just really hard to hit with the laser. The one YouTube I was looking at, which seems to have more information than the guide, or more knowledge that's accurate, lists all the different secret room locations. And remember in the first stage where there's like little nooks with power-ups that are impossible to reach? Those are from a secret room, like right there. It's actually a pretty obvious one as well. You can get the screen to scroll up and collect them. Oh, shit. Radigan the Annoying? Yeah, exactly. Radigan. Radigan was the dude with the meteors, right? If I recall correctly, where you fight him on the big desert and it's like a multiplayer boss. I thought the boss was super cool. He was extremely difficult when the game first released. I believe he's one of the ones that got toned down, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, you really had to make use of all the summons against him. Yeah, no. You're not nearly done, necessarily. He can be fought a lot. Generally, when I fought him, there was still, like, a ton to the... Yeah, the same with me. There was a ton of the northern stuff I hadn't explored. I think maybe you have to do him at a certain point before you can go farther north. I don't remember exactly. He's an awesome boss. Like, I do really like that boss. And he was extremely frustrating. Like, his meteors in particular seemed quite unfair in the original release, and that's probably why they toned it down, but I think it was still awesome and they should have left it. I hate it when they tone down shit. Like, stuff like from soft games.
Yeah, he does that though, Red Mages. And remember, you're playing the toned down version. I don't know. Could you continue there? And I guess you can still continue from this point and still have enough for the final boss, especially like I know how to do the secret room now. And the weapon is less important than I probably can still collect enough bomb energy as well. I don't know. I'll continue from here. I'll have to keep killing myself, I guess. Yeah, I mean, most of Elden Ring is optional, yeah. A ton of optional content, not unlike Bloodborne. I explored every area as well. Like, I did my best to fully 100% maximize the game. A lot of people who did that said that they got burned out on the game, but not me. I loved it. I didn't get burned out at all. But probably that's unadvisable for some people to play like that, trying to like do every single dungeon, do like every single bit of content the game has to offer. Oh, I didn't have a bomb. I didn't have a bomb, so that's why I died. I guess you really maybe it's better just to start over if you die there. Gizmo, hello, how's it going? Are you ready for more of this? Hopefully, I'll beat this quickly today. Stuck in the last level for a long time. Man, TMR is really lucky that his chat, the chat, usually we're sort of like really super strict and uptight about when it came to like properly beating games. Insisting on, like, a lot of times you may remember, like, really extreme requirements for whenever it was unclear. And you had to play through, like, stuff like 8 Eyes and, like, 3 times. Did he have to play through 8 Eyes 3 times? I think he had to play through 8 Eyes 3 times to get count as beating it, and like Low G-Man, he had to play through 3 times. Boulder Dash, he had to play through 4 times because you get credits after playing through the game 4 times. And stuff like that. But for some reason, TMR got away with playing this game on easy mode. He's so lucky that this would have been like a big grind fest otherwise. He's so lucky that he got through easy mode so quickly. I feel like he really looked out on that dragon. But I mean, he's good enough to where he can just somehow persevere and in a long, grueling fight like that and somehow not get hit. And I'm not, usually. Yeah, there's a lot of dungeons. I mean, you know, Elden Ring suffers from the problem that all open world games do, and that they need to have content spread out across this massive land, and the dungeons do get a little bit repetitive and samey, but I think I don't know, I still enjoy doing all of them. There's a lot of cool, like, fun little tricks and ideas, and there's enough interesting in them that I enjoy doing all of them. Like secrets, a lot of secrets. Like crazy secrets you can find. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and usually, like, his whole chat and his community would be like, he would be OCD. Like, oh, dude, wait a second. You know, you don't get the real ending unless you play in hard mode. You got to beat it in hard mode. I don't know how they could let him get away with that. Man, he's so lucky. Okay, so to get the secret here, you specifically have to go into this nook, in this corner here. And that's what lets you get it. And now we can scroll up to here. There we go. That's what lets you get it. None of it really helps much, but it's a cool thing to show off. That's one secret room we can at least consistently show off. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you call it OCD or what, but I just, like, when it comes to FromSoft games, I just, like, love the game so much, and I love, like, they're so fun to explore. I always want to explore everything. I don't want to, like, miss a single thing, because there's just so much cool stuff, and it was generally worth it. Even a game like Elden Ring, which is much more padded than normal Souls games, is still well worth it to, like, fully harvest the game of all its content. Like, there was enough cool stuff. To me, it felt well worth it. Gizmo, how are you doing today? Seven Cities of Gold for DOS. I think there was a 7 Cities of Gold for Amiga that I watched a playthrough of. I wonder if that's the same. I fucked up. We're playing a password game. That's what this screen says. It says it's a password game. You guys know this is a password game? Give me those. Well, whatever. Is it a remaster of the Amiga? I see. I'll play it. I'm glad you're enjoying Elden Ring, Red Mage. It's a really cool game. One of these days I want to play it again. Kind of a daunting game to, like, replay since it's so gigantic. But it's a really cool game. I would like to play it again. One of these days. Give me all these crystals. Horrible Hog, hello. Dark Souls 2-2. You think so? I don't know about that, really. I don't see a lot of similarity, like, specifically with Dark Souls 2, except in that maybe... I don't know. What would be the similarity with Dark Souls 2? Sloppiness of the world design? Not really, though. It's not at all. Dark Souls 2 is like is kind of like Dark Souls 2 is a cool, interesting game, but it's definitely like the sloppiest and least consistent of all the Souls games. Least consistent, least coherent. Like, probably the most unfinished feeling Dark Souls, despite being such a long game. And it also has like the stiffest feeling mechanics, and it really stands out from from all the other Souls games is like being particularly stiff feeling, just not feeling as good as the others do. None of the others are really like that. Even Demon Souls feels a lot better to play than Dark Souls. Elden Ring feels really good to play though. So I don't know what it would specifically be like Dark Souls 2. There was one thing though, like the city of Lanedale with its like sewers, like its massive underground sewers area. It seemed like that area was kind of like a realization of what they wanted to do originally with the gutter in Dark Souls 2, but they like sort of they weren't able to implement it correctly or something. I don't know, that's what it seemed like to me. It reminded me of that when I was playing through Elden Ring. The city of Lanedale reminded me of like how I had heard that the sewer, like the gutters, which is still one of my favorite areas in Dark Souls 2, like how it was supposed to be. Hello, Horrible Hog. How are you doing today? I took a brief look at what the game looks like on the harder modes in some of the later levels, and it's pretty interesting. Like, it really does add just like a ton of enemies. Like, there's entirely new enemies that show up on the later difficulty levels of this game that don't show up, and like, so it's like it's the same enemy configurations, but then there's like new enemies that appear on top of the old configurations, and it looks extremely brutal. The hard mode for this game. It's extremely brutal. But it's kind of an interesting, like, harder mode. If the game like gave you multiple hits, like I think it probably should, it's probably pretty fun to play on the harder modes. That distinction would be cool as well. It's still cool. It still is cool. Happy Monday, everyone. December 1st. I forgot to mention it's December 1st. The last month of 2025. It would be an accomplishment. I definitely don't care enough about this game to try, but I'd rather play something more worthwhile. For an extremely hard game that's really similar to this, I'd much rather play Abadox. Or not Abadox. Well, Abadox is cool too, but Metal Storm. One of these days I want to try to finish Metal Storm's really hard ultimate mode. That would be really cool to grind and finish. And it seems like it would be quite a grind. It seems like it'd be quite difficult. Probably have to look up some strategies. Almost died. Damn. Stray Rodent, hello. How are you doing today? In the Hunt. Oh, that submarine game. Yeah, I need to play that again. That game's super cool. Yep. That's a super cool game. I need to play that again one of these days. Remember that had a PS1 version. Which is, I think that's how I first played that. Repeating mini bosses. Did it though? Conceptually gorgeous levels with okay design, but cracking at the seams often. I don't know if that's a good. I don't know if that's a good description of Elden Ring. Really, innovative NPCs. Were they innovative? How? In what way were they even innovative? I don't understand what you mean. I mean, the NPCs are more memorable in Dark Souls 1. They're okay in Dark Souls 2. More weapon variety, innovation is expected from a sequel. By innovation, I think you mean like mixing it up with this system, like sort of changing things up a little bit, switching things up. The only thing that maybe is slightly innovative, really slightly, is probably like the power stance system, because I think it was popular enough that it got continued into other Dark Souls. But most of the other stuff that Dark Souls 2 is like the opposite of innovative. It's like changes that people didn't like and they ended up getting rid of. Like, I mean, I don't know, like, like the whole, like, burning things into the bonfire. Well, the soul memory system, ultimately people didn't really like that. Adaptability, interesting, but generally kind of, like, not a popular mechanic, you know? Mostly had either neutral or anti-innovative changes. But, it mixed things up a little bit, tried some new things, like being able to, like, despawn enemies by killing them 10 times was interesting as well, but like, ultimately that's kind of a bad addition too, I think. Some people like that, I guess. I guess it had more weapon variety, like people liked it. I heard good things about its PvP because of like the huge variety with its weapons. But it's not really that unique in that regard. I don't know if it's more so than Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, or probably it is, but I don't know. It's definitely like cracking at the seams. Like, it's not so much that it's like it's sloppy. It feels incoherent and like rushed in many regards. I don't think Elden Ring feels rushed at all. I think Elden Ring feels incredibly solid for how massive it is. It's padded, but that's a bit different from like what's going on with it's a bit padded, but I don't think it feels rushed in any regard. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see a horrible hog, the similarity there. I don't see much there. Yeah? If I were to replay Elden Ring, I might want to do that as well. I focused on, I guess, initially blood type weapons or dexterity, but then I transitioned into faith build, which had some really cool weapons. The sorcery weapons seem awesome. Magic kind of seems like the way to go. Oops, that was stupid. The magic seems like the way to go in just magic abilities, because like they're some of the coolest stuff. Yeah, like a sorcery playthrough would be fun. That seems good to be fun. I'd like to do that one of these days. There are some like sub-quests that I never uncovered. That would be cool to play through again and try out. Yeah, the bubble, that was my favorite thing, the bubble blowing weapon, which is the faith weapon. You'd be on faith. Dragon magic. There's just so much shit in Elden Ring. I guess in that way it is. It's a little bit kitchen sinky, and that, but even more so than Dark Souls 2. Oh, it didn't register this time. The secret. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna do. I don't know if I need that secret to get up to max speed or not. I think so. I haven't made it to the boss yet. We hadn't even had one attempt at the boss yet. Safest just go fuck these guys. Me too, red mages. That's the way to do it with Souls games, for sure. Then you can like have the fun of uncovering all the stuff you missed the first time, which is usually a lot of stuff. Alright, is that max speed right there? I don't know. Careful, don't get the one-up. Don't get the one-up. Shit. If I get one more crystal, I'm fucked. So you gotta be really careful, because that's another really stupid thing about this game. That extra bar. The bar is for storing up bombs. You can store up to 7. If it goes to 8, if it fills up, you get a completely worthless, useless 1-up that takes away your bombs. It's like the ultimate punishment. It should say, instead of extra, it should say fucked. Like if this bar fills up, you're fucked. That's what it should say. It should be the fucked bar. Totally misdesigns. Hope this crystal scrolls off the screen. Oh shit, it's not gonna... Well, I'll just have to use the bomb quickly. Oh no, it did. Alright, do the boss. I'm trying with the laser now. Let's see. I could. Let me just interact with chat a bit. I won't be able to look at chat for the boss. I've got to get mentally prepared. DLC is really cool in Elden Ring as well. A really cool, like, smaller little open world to explore. As long as you're not sick of Elden Ring content. Like, it's a lot of really good content, really good bosses. And it's interesting the way it's scaled. Unique way where you start... It's got unique scaling so that you won't be overpowered no matter when you come to it. Large and expansive world where you visit multiple different lands. I mean, that's every Souls game, though. The map shows the whole continent that you're zipping through. Dark Souls 2 doesn't have a map. I don't know what you mean by a map, though. Dark Souls 2, like... Dark Souls 2's is a bit inverted with Dark Souls 1. Like, Dark Souls 2 is very spread out and wide open in the beginning. Well... Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty open. I mean, Dark Souls is kind of open-ish, but it's a bit more like it has some choices. It has some interesting choices in the beginning of the game, but generally there's sort of a critical path through the game up and through about the 2/3 point, and then it opens up in the end. Whereas like Dark Souls 2 is reverse, like the final parts of it are like pretty linear, and then Dark Souls 3 is like forget what the but there's a whole map room with the kind of Majula. There's a map room, but it's just it's not really a map. It doesn't really show you anything. I don't think that's the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. That's a stretch. That's a big stretch. It's an ambitious game. It's maybe like a little bit bigger than Dark Souls 1. Um and maybe more so than Dark Souls 3 as well. I don't know. But it's not like that different. It's pretty similar in scale and scope and size to Dark Souls 1 and 3. I don't know. Yeah, it shows bosses you defeat, but it doesn't show you really anything about like that's useful in terms of like acting as a map to show you to help you figure out like anything about how to explore the world. It shows you nothing. It basically is just a glorified just checklist of bosses, pretty much. I don't know. I see no similarity between Elden Ring and Dark Souls 2. I don't know. Uh, like Elden Ring has the ambition of Dark Souls 2. It's got the huge kitchen sink of stuff and the ambition, but it also has the creativity of Dark Souls 2. Like it has the creativity with its world design. It has the aesthetics of like Dark Souls 1 at the level of a Dark Souls 1, where it's just aesthetically really beautiful and coherent. Like it's a beautiful looking world and everything is just really cool to explore. Which was a problem in Dark Souls 3. Like Dark Souls 3 is kind of missing the creativity and the aesthetics. It's the kind of the most boring, bland looking of all the games, and like Elden Ring has got this whole thing with like gold, and it's got sort of like this theming that's like much more beautiful and interesting to look at. Dark Souls 2 is like pretty creative. Like it was all over the place. It was very inconsistent. Like it was more exciting than Dark Souls 3. It was less predictable than Dark Souls 3, but it's also extremely sloppy. It's like like Elden Ring kind of like is the best. It takes the best of both worlds of all the Dark Souls games. Like in some ways, it's kind of the coolest thing FromSoft's ever done, the most ambitious, coolest thing. Like but it's not as tight as Dark Souls 1. It's the world design is not nearly as good. Dark Souls 1 is the best thing they've ever done as an overall package and has the best world design. And Elden Ring can't really compete with that. It's just not as concise. It's not as the actual journey through Elden Ring is nowhere near as exciting as like the journey through Dark Souls 1, I would say. Since we're getting off on a Dark Souls tangent, well, I don't mind though. That side quest is really amazing. I did manage to like I didn't look up anything when I was playing through Elden Ring. I tried to uncover as much as I could by myself, and I'm fortunate that I was able to like figure out is it the side quests you're talking about? Yeah, there's some really amazing side quests. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 does have some fan service stuff that's a little bit tacky, but I think it has little to do with the game's problems. That's fine. There's nothing really wrong with that. I think that's fine. The big problem with Dark Souls 3 for me is just the world design is the most bland and uncreative of like any modern FromSoft game, probably. It makes up for it in other ways, though. It's much more polished than Dark Souls 2. I agree. Yeah, Elden Ring has got. It does have some. It has a bit of that Bloodborne ish, like disturbing horror stuff mixed in, like almost Lovecraftian. Like it's like there's residual Bloodborne-ish, like Lovecraftian elements in Elden Ring, I guess, underneath the surface, and that maybe that's just kind of like the way all the Souls games are, though. There's some really good NPCs, but there's a lot of the NPCs are not really that interesting, but there's some really good ones. Elden Ring just kind of has more of everything. Okay, I guess now Legionary Shark, hello. I just uploaded some of your subscriber requests, like Goemon. on my YouTube. Anyway, okay. I think now I'm gonna try to focus on the boss and let's have a good attempt. Probably die though. What a fucked up final boss. Fucked up final boss, dude. Alright, do you want to talk about Souls games some more? I do like, I mean, just to be clear, I do like all the Souls games, including Dark Souls 2 and 3. Like, of all the modern stuff, like, FromSoft has done, you know, basically it's done all the greatest masterpieces of modern gaming. Except for, like, maybe a bit of Atlas and a bit of Platinum, you know, a couple things here and there. But it's, you know, like, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring are all, like, amazing masterpieces. But Dark Souls 2 and 3 are just a little bit weaker. They both sort of have certain weaknesses. But they're still really good games. If you like Souls games, they're still really good. Oh, it didn't work. I guess I left it. You have to stay there a little bit longer. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Red Mages, hope you continue to enjoy Elden Ring. Very good game. Have you played all the Souls games now? After that? I've been kind of wanting to play more Souls games lately. But I don't know when I have the time. So many games. But I'm not going to, though. I'm not going to be playing any Souls games. I could play Souls games this month, but instead of that, I think I'll play some RPGs that I've really been wanting to play as well. I think I'm going to finally get around to playing some RPGs very soon. Demon Souls. Hopefully the PS3 Demon Souls, which is the only Demon Souls there is. Otherwise you haven't played it. Dark Souls. All the Dark Souls. Bloodborne. You gotta play Sekiro as well. Sekiro's really good. And then that's it. Armored Core is not a Souls game, but they're really good games. I mean... But, yeah, that's like a different category, even though it's FromSoft games. You can start getting into, like, older FromSoft games, too. I need to play more myself. There's some really good ones. Good. Good Red Mages. That's all that matters. There is no other Demon Soul. That's the only way you can play Demon Soul. It's the PS3 version. The only way to play it. Sekiro is not really a Souls game particularly. No. But it's close enough. I mean, it's definitely a different sort of game, but it definitely has the sort of a modern Souls-like feel to it, even if it's got some pretty different gameplay aspects. So, to the point where, and like a lot about the game's structure feels like a Souls game anyway, in terms of like boss fights and such, like exploration and boss fights. So, yeah, like if you, to the point where like if you really like modern Souls games, I'm sure there's no doubt you probably like Sekiro as well, and you should play it, and you know, it deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as the other Souls stuff. You definitely should play Sekiro. And you know, your modern FromSoft journey is not really complete if you haven't played Sekiro. I need to play Tenchu games. I want to play Tenchu. It's not really a Souls game, but it has some of the same feel. I should. I mean, that's not a FromSoft game, but I've heard it's good. I do want to play Lies of P. I just don't know. That might be a good one to play. As far as for my next Souls game, I need to play. I have it. Who knows when I'll get to it. There's just too many games. But I want to play Lies of P. I'm getting pretty close to uploading my Soul. Do you remember my Souls marathon? Where I did a whole bunch of like Souls-like games? No actual FromSoft games, but like a whole bunch of games inspired by Dark Souls games. Like I played The Surge and Outward and the Jedi Souls game. And Neo and Code Vein. I played all of those games on stream. A lot of them are not very good. Lies of P looks good, though. I've been thinking about having... There's still a bunch I haven't played. I've been thinking about having like a second one of those. I could be due for a second Souls... I called it the Sold Out streams. I could be due for a second one of those. Outward was excellent. I kind of really didn't like it. I didn't like Outward at all. It's interesting, and I don't know... I guess I sort of understand why people like it, but it's for totally different reasons than Souls, because like the gameplay is complete shit. But I guess you can learn to play it, and maybe you can learn to like it. It's extremely awkward, with the lack of hit stun on enemies. But I guess the main thing about the game is the exploration, even though it's almost like a completely amateurish indie version of Elden Ring, in fact, because it's sort of trying to be open world, like Dungeons and Dragons-esque adventure, Outward. But in many ways extremely amateurish and badly designed. Except I guess, I don't know, I mean, I guess that what people like about it is that there could be a variety of situations that are interesting or something. Like the story, I don't know, the story maybe? The storytelling of the game people like about it maybe? Hard to say, I don't know exactly what people like about it. It's such a jank, like if any game deserves the word jank, it's such a giant game. It's such a, like, a messy game. Such a messy, like, amateurish designed game, Outward. It is doing, like, a lot of the same, or similar stuff to, like, Soul. Or even Elden Ring. But anyway, I mean, it's interesting. I definitely didn't like it. I don't think most people would like Outward. You have to be into, like, a certain kind of thing. And it's definitely, like, it is very questionable to count it as a Souls-like, but some people do. It sort of seems like it's kind of going for a bit of, like, that kind of Souls-like thing with its combat, but in a different way. Anyway, I don't know, it's not really that important of a game. It's just one of the games I played during Sold Out. I didn't particularly enjoy it. The main games I enjoyed from that were pretty much the Japanese developed ones. Code Vein and Nioh are both good. Of the Western developed ones I played, the best one was the Jedi Souls game, the Star Wars, but even that was not really good per se. It was more just tolerable. It was the most tolerable of the non-Japanese ones I played. But I wouldn't recommend it. It's a pretty drawn-out, kind of bland game. The Jedi Souls. I only played... there's 2 of those now. I only played the first one. I doubt the second one is worth investing into. I tried Remnant from the Ashes, which is, like, not really. It's more of like a Resident Evil 4, weird mission-based Resident Evil 4 thing more than like a Souls thing. Barely, I don't know why people count that. Some of the stuff that people have on like lists of Souls-type games aren't really, doesn't make much sense. Like the Surge is kind of really bad. The Surge 1 and 2 and Remnants Lords of the Fallen, which I played the original one, not the new one. It's really strange that there's 2 Lords of the Fallen games just both called Lords of the Fallen, but they're like made by different developers. That's really strange. By all accounts, the second one is like nothing amazing either. The first one is absolutely awful. Like it's probably the worst of all the Souls. Well, it's the worst one that I tried. Survival RPG. I wonder what... I don't quite fully really understand what that means. Like survival in... Like a survival crafting game? Like what? Like, I don't know, it's kind of a genre, isn't it? I don't understand that genre too. I guess like it sort of spawns from like Minecraft originally or something. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting world to explore. Yeah, maybe the world is interesting if you can get into it. And I tried... I mean, I mainly stayed away from, like, the 2D games that tend to get labeled as Souls-likes. I think it's kind of like a bullshit category. Like, I don't think... There's a lot of 2D games, like, with Hollow Knight sort of being the chief example, but there's, like, a lot of... Even, like, stuff like Shovel Knight clearly takes a little bit of inspiration from Dark Souls with its death system. But there's a lot of different indie 2D platformers that take inspiration from Dark Souls. But like anything, basically anything with like a roll button, people will like just count as like being a Souls-like, which is pretty absurd. Pretty much anything that's 2D, I don't count as a Souls-like. It doesn't count. It has to be like one of the fundamental things of like a Souls-like is it has to be a 3D game. It can't be 2D. 2D does not count. But there are like, you know, and most of that stuff is just... It's simply borrowing elements of Dark Souls, but and then it's throwing them into what is like otherwise a very conventional, like modern indie Metroid-like style game, like Hollow Knight is. What was I gonna say? The one that is like the one game that that is the closest to being like a 2D Souls-like that I did play for my Souls-like marathon. This is back in 2021. Was Salt and Sanctuary. That's the one I allowed. Even that though, it starts out feeling like exactly like it's just simply trying to play like Dark Souls in 2D. But the platforming in that game really betrays that, especially when it starts to add in very, very typical cliche, generic, like modern indie Metroid like abilities like double jumps and wall jumps that really do not, and like the platforming does not fit. Like it's a really schizophrenic game. And it's also extremely ugly. Salt and Sanctuary, I would not consider to be a good game at all. It's just interesting. I haven't played Binary Domain. Yeah, that was like isn't that like Capcom? It's like a PS3 game that doesn't seem in any way Souls-like. It seems more like it's trying to be like a shooter. Like a shooter follow. I don't know. It was like a Japanese take on a shooter from those times, and it seemed like it could have been interesting. I never played it. It was on my list. I never got around to it. Ooh, look at all the crystals. I probably do want to try that. That's a game I would want to try one of these days. Binary Domain. If I could ever get around to it, I would like to try that. I don't know. I don't think that doesn't really fit in the category of like talking about Souls-likes though. I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the game too much. I think it's more of a shooter. But yeah, Salt and Sanctuary is the only one. Just because Salt and Sanctuary so nakedly just wants to be Dark Souls in 2D, but then it's like, it has this really schizophrenic platforming once it starts to get double jumps and wall jumps. Like to me, it's like, the whole idea, I don't know if this has ever been done, but and maybe Salt and Sanctuary is the closest, but it's not really this. The whole idea of like making Dark Souls in 2D, that like is actually just trying to be Dark Souls in 2D, is a cool idea. Just trying to play exactly like Dark Souls in 2D, but like to really do that, you'd have to, the key critical aspect is to have jumping be like how it is in Dark Souls, where it's only horizontal and there's no vertical jumping whatsoever. And so you'd have to like but it would be interesting though to play, you'd have to do the level design completely around that. It would have to be completely unconventional level design for a Metroid, like a modern indie Metroid like. And just that aspect alone could be so interesting. Like Salt and Sanctuary is such an utter failure of like realizing that concept because the level design is so mundanely, blandly, just typical modern indie shit. Like complete with like upgrades, like double jumps that let you like access new areas, and it's got like a stupid like walk on walls thing. It doesn't really fit. I don't know of any single indie game that like does that, but that could have been interesting. But it's like with indie Metroid-like things, it's almost like there's this zombification effect where like people making them, it's like they have like you have to put certain things in it. You have to like have double jumps and wall climbs, and that's like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, like they all have like the same exact stuff, including like the same exact map system. It's amazing how like what is the word? Like how they all fall in line with being the same kind of thing in the same sort of ways. But yeah, no, there's no, as far as I know, there's no 2D game that is like that. That would actually sort of be interesting in the way it like sort of feels like a soul. There's nothing like that. In any case, I don't think any, like, that 2D is a separate category. It's inherent to Souls-like games to be 3D. If it's not 3D, it's not a Souls-like. It's like, you know. So, like, if I ever did a second Souls-like special, I wouldn't include anything 2D. It would only be 3D stuff. I feel like that's the whole point of the category. Gears of War like. Well, Gears of War like doesn't sound like a big selling point to me. Gears of War, I don't know. From all my experience, like, I never really played Gears of War. I played a couple things that are maybe inspired by Gears of War, and I've looked from looking at Gears of War, which basically the big thing with that is being like a third-person hover-based military game. And at the time, I guess that might have seemed novel, but like now it just seemed like there's no appeal to it. Like for me, like looking at Gears of War, there's no appeal to me. I can't really identify any sort of appeal to it, like any reason to actually play it for me. Because I don't like Dead Space either. But Dead Space is like very nakedly just essentially just trying to be Resident Evil 4. Which is not a bad thing to try to be because people love Resident Evil 4. That remnant from the Ashes game seems very Resident Evil 4 as well. Though in a more typical PC way with like mouse aiming, which is sort of like kryptonite to me. If a game has like a heavy emphasis on mouse aiming, then I just don't want to play it, pretty much. Anime Souls game. I know about 90s, but the Anime Souls game that I did play... Hey, Skittles! The Anime Souls game that I did end up playing was Code Vein. I feel like that was the... There's probably been more of these at this point, hasn't there? But, like, Code Vein was, like, the first big Souls-like... attempted a Souls-like game to sort of combine that with anime, and I thought it was quite good. I liked Code Vein, although it has some weirdness. No, I gotta finish this stupid game, Skittles, unfortunately. I feel like I gotta finish it. I know, it's like, I'm not really enjoying it, and it's kind of a waste of time, but... Yet... I mean, it could be any second now. I think I just killed myself. Well, you're right, Skills. You know me. I gotta get that victory. It shouldn't be that much longer. Like, in terms of time investment, it makes sense. It shouldn't be that much longer. It could be... I mean, imagine if I'm still playing this and the timer reaches 10 hours. Is it really gonna... Like, it only took TMR 1 hour to beat this game. Is it really gonna take that long? I can't imagine it taking that long. Plus, I have a general idea of the boss strats now. I just need to get, like, a little bit of a lucky run on it. It should happen sooner or later. Because I'm not playing too good right now, though, because I've only reached the boss so far, like, one time. Today so far, and that's not too good. Well, Skittles, how's it going today? You're talking about games. Do you like games? Let's build myself there. The option exists. It's true, but I can't take that option, you know? Because, with Fliptendo, I want to try to get as many wins as I can of, like, winnable games. This is like a little sound effect when the secret is triggered, isn't there? Suikoden Demon Century. I bet it's good, Red Mages. Probably should. PS2 Berserk game. I watched Macaw play through that. Look, I would play that game. I would play PS2 Berserk. I want to play the Dreamcast one as well. Definitely seems a little bit weird, but a little bit messed up. But I would still play that. I would totally play that. Do I like beat 'em ups? I'm not the biggest beat 'em up person, the beat 'em up guy, but I love a lot of the classic beat 'em ups have really amazing music and like just aesthetics, like music and visuals. And I like that aspect of them. But to actually they're kind of like beat 'em ups are kind of all about just like getting 1cc's, and they can be quite time consuming to learn, it seems like, so. I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite genre, but there's some beat 'em ups that I really quite like and will go back to, like Final Fight. There's a lot of there's surprisingly a lot of new beat 'em ups coming out, but like it's generally they don't really interest me. Uh-oh, that's extremely bad. Is that the last power-up I can get? That's extremely bad. I guess it doesn't matter too much because the power-up probably doesn't matter on this boss. The speed is what matters, not the power-up. So I guess it doesn't actually matter that much. I don't have enough bomb, though. Not nearly enough bomb. Well, I have 6.5. It's close to what you would normally want to have. Yeah, I would play that Dreamcast one. I would play them both. I would still play the PS2 one, even though it looks a little bit messed up with kind of grinding or whatever. They do tend to get repetitive. The thing with beat 'em ups is that a lot of beat 'em ups, being classic arcade games, are games you just kind of credit feed if you play them casually, and it gets boring. And that used to be the thing with me, is I would just credit feed them, and I'd be like, yeah, it's fun to credit feed through, and then, but to actually enjoy them, you have to sort of get into 1cc'ing them. That's the way in which to make them fun, but it's not really that approachable unless you really, I don't know. There's certain ones that I would want to do that with, but I haven't invested a lot of time into ever really doing that. I'd rather learn 1cc's on stuff like Rastan and platformers, Rastan and Osman, which I haven't got around to doing yet. Eventually I will. Hey, here we go. I'm gonna die. Maybe I'll live. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe this is it. Nope. I still have laser A, but I have no speed. Should I? Maybe we'll give it a try to keep going from here on this checkpoint. But I don't know. We'll just try it just to see how it feels. I'm pretty sure this is impossible without the speed and no bombs as well. Well, Skittles, not much, because we have a couple more games until we get to Megami Tensei. I'm not going to do Megami Tensei. I'm still not going to do that right now, because I want to play through RPGs, but I don't want to do... I'm not in the mood to do more Famicom RPGs right now. Megami Tensei 2 will be really long. What I want to do is I want to play Suikoden. I want to finally get to Suikoden games. That's going to be next. Maybe I'll get back to Megami Tensei 2 in January. Suikoden is going to be next. And I'm even thinking maybe we'll try to do, like, a few Suikoden games. Maybe you'll even do, like, 2 or 3 of them. I don't know, depending on, like, how long they take. I've never played Crisis Speed. But more importantly, speed. No way. Let me see if I can like this. The laser is damaging him, for sure. I'm pretty sure the ring wasn't damaging him at all. Kills him faster than the shots. I think I'm dead. I have no bomb. I have no more bomb. I'm gonna get trapped. I'm dead. Yep, like that. Needed the bomb there. Maybe it's worth it trying to take the laser to him. Perhaps that's damaging him faster than the normal shot. Worth a try. Yes, we code in Skittles. How about that? I'm not gonna shit at Skittles. I'm gonna love them. The coding games are awesome. They've got amazing soundtracks. This is going to be like pure fun. Don't you want to have pure fun with it? Come into my stream, Skittles. Let's have some pure fun. You like fun, right, Skittles? You've seen it now, aren't you? Are you enjoying it, Red Mages? You like Fritos? Okay. Builds character. It's true. I've got so much character already. I've got so much character. Look at me. I'm still playing. I'm still grinding this stupid game, even though it sucks. Right, Stray Rodent? Game does not suck. You don't think so? You don't think so, Red Maze? You think this is good? Have you played this? No, I mean, maybe it doesn't suck. It's just kind of annoying, you know? Sorry, I lack wisdom. lot of gameplay. I don't know, is there though? There's 7 stages, but like 99% of the game is just being stuck on stage 7. You know, kind of like Ninja Gaiden 1, where you're going to spend 80% of your playthrough on Act 6. But at least Ninja Gaiden feels good to play. But like, to be honest with you, I feel like this game doesn't really feel that good to play. I don't know, I think that, I feel like you feel underpowered in this game is the problem. Also, like, you know, for, like, a hard game to grind, this game's kind of lacking a cool aesthetic. You know? Something like Abadox has. But the music's just kind of not good enough in this game. The music and presentation is just kind of not good enough. Like, Abadox is much better. Probably the closest thing gameplay-wise to this game is Abadox. And, this has got, like, the difficulty of an R-Type, but it doesn't have the coolness factor of an R-Type. This speed, I need this speed against that boss. Right here. Metal Machine, hello. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm not too happy about that. But yeah, I don't know, I think this game just doesn't really feel that good to play. You just feel too underpowered. But it's still a sort of acceptable game. To play through, maybe. Like, it's sort of an acceptable game to try to learn, like, if you want to, like, try to learn this and learn the harder difficulties. You definitely need to spam the bombs, so you can learn to spam your bombs more frequently. Using your bombs efficiently is, like, super important. I think I was already at max speed. Okay, be careful with the bombs. Don't collect too much. Don't collect too much. I can barely collect anything else, maybe one more. But don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. I'll get this one up here. That's it. Don't touch anything else. Because again, if it goes to extra, lose all your bombs. That's extremely bad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to give this a 4 out of 10. I kind of don't really like this game that much, but yeah, if you can get into it, it's sort of acceptable in some ways. I'm just gonna die there. I don't know why I die in that spot sometimes. It's pretty weird. Glitch. Alright, I gotta keep grinding now. Let's get back to the grinding. That happened again. See, like it's before the enemies spawn. The third wave of enemies. It's not the third wave of enemies killing you. Some sort of glitch killing you there once in a while. Glitched enemy spawns or something. Oh well, doesn't really matter. The music. It sucks. This game has like super Ghouls and Ghosts syndrome, where you spend too much of your time on like an extremely difficult penultimate stage. In this case, like final stage. In the case of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, penultimate stage. And it's like I don't really enjoy the aesthetic. I love Super Ghouls and Ghosts so much. Like it's got some of my favorite aesthetics of a 16-bit game. It might aesthetically be my favorite 16-bit game, period. Best visuals and best music, but I don't enjoy the aesthetics of that particular stage that much, stage 7. So it sucks that the majority of the game is you're sort of mired on Loop 2 stage 7. I still love the game anyway, despite that though. Like this game, it's like it's the same thing. It's like I like the music on the first stage. Actually, some of the game's music and presentation is kind of cool. Like stage 2 is kind of cool looking. Stage 1 is cool looking. The earlier stages are kind of better looking and have better music. The music in this stage reminds me of like, I don't know, like final stage music of Castlevania 1. I don't think that's that good either. Like it's like it's the least interesting music in the game. But I mean, with Castlevania 1 though, you're not really stuck on it. Like you don't have to spend that long in that part. Whereas this game, you know, you're gonna spend 90. The game it's so monstrously difficult. The final stage compared to anything else in the game that you're gonna spend 90% of your playthrough here. Like with Ninja Gaiden 1 as well. You're going to spend 90% of your playthrough in Act 6. At least with Ninja Gaiden, though, the whole game is like has an extremely good feel. You're always playing a game that feels really good, and it's fun to learn. Which is not really the case with this game. Like the look of it, as a final stage, this stage is really kind of boring, and the music's not really that good. It kind of sucks. This is a stage that sucks to be stuck on. The boss is cool looking, but it's just not really that fun to fight. I did enjoy the first few stages of this game, though. The first few stages were pretty good. The overhead stages are interesting. Like, they're not really good. They're like weird prototype versions of the overhead stages in Contra 3. But they're interesting, though. I mean, they're not really like they're very under-designed because there's really nothing. It's just constantly spawning enemies in like a empty blank grid. And there's nothing to them. There's nothing to explore. They're very underbaked, but at least they give the game a little bit of variety. Yeah, that's where I got a bomb there. That's why I got a bomb there. Gee, 2 cramps. I'll probably never touch this game again after you, like, mercifully get through this. I was curious about the other difficulties, but I've looked at them and they're interesting, like, they're cool. It's cool that the harder difficulties add more enemies rather than like just simply, I don't know. I mean, ordinarily you would like increase the health of enemies or something like that and make them take more damage. But this game doesn't really do that. It might do that as well. It does do that with the bosses, which they already take like enough damage as it is on this mode, so it seems really painful. But it's cool that they have additional enemies, so they have a different, you know, like there's additional content, basically, on the harder difficulty settings. That's cool. But once I finish this, I'm never touching this game again. Move on with my life. Maybe I should just do what Skittle says, and I should just give up on playing this. This is too hard. Red Maidens will forgive me eventually. What do you think about that, Red Mage? It's the first step towards enjoying life again. Wouldn't that be nice? Enjoy life again? Imagine that. You'll forgive me now? I know I can beat the damn game, though. Eventually. Yeah, I will do that anyway. We won't even get to see an ending because of the stupid difficulty system. So I'll have to do that anyway. Another thing about this game that sucks. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. It was an emergency, Skittles. It was a bathroom emergency. I never go scream into a pillow. That's not something I would do. Why would you scream into a pillow? That's silly. Well, you do? Why? Why? Why you scream into a pillow? Oh, that doesn't sound healthy. Do you scream at your wife? Just don't scream. Just don't scream. I don't ever scream. I never scream. My whole life, I like never scream unless like it's for fun. Don't scream, Red Mages. Why would you even scream? Maybe if you're being chased by like a real life Jason, you could scream. But like short of that, why would you scream? We live safe, comfy lives in our suburban homes. You know? And that's like a frustrated scream? How would I ever like beat any of these games if I could get frustrated that easily? Does not compute. Do not understand. This concept of like screaming for no reason. For fun, you know, like if you're on a roller coaster, then you scream for fun, right? Like, whoa, this is so much fun! I would like, yeah, if you're on a roller coaster, or you know, maybe like a haunted house, although I wouldn't really scream in a haunted house. I usually go through haunted house just silent, but you know, maybe in a haunted house situation. Anyway, awkward. I don't scream. I'm not screaming. I've watched the movies scream. They're pretty good, the first four. I want to, like, what Skittles just said, I want to read that in the voice of the one dude from Back to the Future 3. Like, run for fun? Who would run for fun? I kind of read that like that. Scream for fun? Who would scream for fun? Like, kind of a Jeff Foxworthy voice. That dude, that one dude who's, I think, is in, like, 1,000 Westerns. You know, he's got that famous voice. Run for fun? Who would run for fun? Remember that scene, guys? Back to the Future 3? I'm gonna focus on the game now. He knows remembers. He remembers. Thinking about it right now. I just watched all those again with my wife pretty recently. Back to the Future. They're good. Those are good movies. Yeah, oh, those are good movies. Shit, not the Rings. Oh no, not the Rings. Not the Rings. No. Nokron. Oh shit, I can get the can't risk it. Nokron. A lot easier to handle these things if you have the big speed up boost, which you kind of need to have here. Top of them, and then you can handle them with any weapon. This underground city place. It's just like such a bland, nondescript final stage. It's so uninteresting to look at. There we go, that's better. Okay, watch the crystals come out. Can't collect too many more, gotta be careful. That one, and I think that's it. Here we go, guys. Let's see what happens. It's not fucking hitting. Oh, there we go. He's got a fucking billion hit points even on easy mode. What the fuck? That shit. The hits just don't register. Please, die. Hmm? Never been alive against him this long. He won't fucking die! Fuck you! This is fucking easy mode! This fucking shit? Fucking die! This shit is ridiculous! at this game. Red Mages. Great Fight Warrior and Ace of see a graphic ending. Fuck you, game. Fuck off. There you go, Skittles. We don't have to play anymore. Alright, now let's look at this shit. Let's watch somebody on YouTube passing beat the game. This is on ultimate mode, so this is the 4th difficulty setting, the hardest difficulty setting. Let's see what he fucking does. So he's not, I feel like he's not getting multiple hits. I don't really know how the mechanics work, but like, every time the boss flashes once, it's like 1 damage, right? The bombs are doing nothing. So it's really weird, because it's like the boss has the same amount of health regardless of difficulty setting. Because look at how quickly it dies. I mean, maybe if you're mashing the laser into him like that from close up, maybe it is doing multiple damage. Alright. Alright, let's see. This is the ending on ultimate mode. I think it's different. We should just see both ultimate mode and hard mode. It's probably just a text difference between ultimate mode and hard mode. I'm definitely counting the fucking game as beaten. I don't care if I got credits or not. The game's I beat it. I beat the goddamn game. I beat it the same way TMR beat it. It's good enough for TMR. Good enough for me. Unreal, you have finished an unbeatable game. That's true. I did beat that goddamn game. I did, Red Mages. You've earned my respect. God damn. Beatles, maybe I want your quotes. Maybe I'm baiting you. I'm a master baiter. A master of baiting that. Sounds good. Maybe everything I say is bait, if you think about it.
My name is Fliptendo, and I am a master baiter.
Ooh, I'm just getting to these on my YouTube channel. I'm getting really close to Zeliard and the PC98 streams. The scheme came right after Zeliard. Get really close to the Zeliard upload. Oh man, it kind of makes me want to go back and play Zeliard again. How about it, Skittles? Zeliard was so much fun, even though it was like a dozen hours of grinding. Such a fun game. I love Zeliard. I love playing through Zeliard. Alright, here's what the secrets look in this game. I only found the one at the end. There's 10 of them? But they're really weird though, so you can get the screen to scroll up here. Here's the weird thing. It's like you have to be on a specific difficulty level to get these. Ace, Eagle, Albatross, Ace, Ace, Eagle, Ace, Albatross, Ace, Eagle. Maybe, I don't know if you can get them on Ultimate, or if, like, that's the minimum difficulty level. Like, they work depending on what difficulty setting you're on, so you have to be a specific spot of the screen. This one right here seems like probably the most obvious one that I should have found. Just press up here. And I think this works on easy. This video for beating the game is on ultimate difficulty setting, yes. By the way, the boss didn't look any different. But I'll show off a bit of some of the stages. So the stages have some interesting differences. But these secret rooms are kind of interesting as well. It's kind of messed up that they're specific to difficulty settings. Like this one is, I don't know what the fuck. You get to this whole area, go down here, and you get another one of those things. The secret stages they tend to have one-ups, which you never see during the normal course of the game. Little orb with 1 in it. Those only appear in the secret areas. But the funny thing is, of course, they're completely worthless. Because lives don't matter in this game. They basically don't matter. It's such a misdesigned game in that way. So it's a lot of these secret rooms are pretty pointless anyway. So you go down. Yeah, you press up against the stage here. They don't need to show all of them, but the final stage has an interesting one. There's two. I found the one I found myself. You guys were seeing that. There's this though, and this apparently only works on the easier mode. I tried this. Or no, it only works on the harder mode, I should say. I tried this on easy mode. So you have to be like, I don't know, like, I would have definitely found that accidentally. Just triggering that as just being in that spot. You get 3 1-ups, and then look what happens. Of course Red Man is. Yeah, of course, it's cheated. He may not have eaten a bullet, because the hitbox of your sprite is a bit lenient, and bullets can go... They can seemingly rush, they can graze against you and not kill you, and that's in the normal game. Right here, take a look at... We saw the differences with, like, Stage 1. Take a look at, like, Stage 2, for example, on Ultimate Mode. It's probably the same general enemies. So, like, these guys constantly spawning, they don't show up on easy mode. Guys, my wife is awake. My wife just woke up. So these purple guys on the sides don't appear in easy mode. Definitely seems like even more. It's got to be like the first 4 stages were not that bad on easy mode, but I mean, I struggled to beat stage 1 on hard mode, and I couldn't beat it after an hour of grinding. So all of the first 4 stages, I'm sure, are going to be way harder, and then you can only imagine stage like 5 through 7. Of course, it's going to be. I mean, look at these stages on ultimate mode. Look at all the enemy spawns. It's insane. Look at this. Look at this shit. It was already hard enough. Like, it was so easy to just die from like the random things flying at you. But now look at all the shit that it shoots at you as well. These stages seem ridiculous on ultimate mode. Yeah, some of them do and some of them don't, as far as whether they're cheated. Even if they don't appear to be cheated, I would assume they're tasked. I'm sure this video is probably tasked. Yeah, I was a little too cautious with my bombs. I could have used them more, for sure. But we really needed the bombs for the boss, the final boss. I had no idea the bombs didn't damage bosses. I was like saving them for bosses. Yes, you know, I don't know. Here, let's take a quick look at the final stage here on ultimate mode. It's pretty messed up. Although the final boss looks the same, funnily enough, oddly enough. Doesn't seem like he particularly takes more damage, but where's their extra enemies? So, like, up to this point, it actually seems identical. This is ultimate mode. Up to this point, there's no additional enemies. What is actually different with the 7th stage? I don't know. Let's see here. There's something... Oh! Wait. No, there's some extra enemies here that are showing up. Little flying guys that are extra there. Oh, those guys are extra. See those guys there? It doesn't seem really that different, though. So it's like, it's not even really that much easier on easy mode. They could have, like, removed some of these. It's sort of cool that the harder modes have additional new enemies that appear to make it actually really, like, sort of like additional content. But on the other hand, the easy mode is, like, not even that different. It's not different enough. Easy mode is still hard in this game. Like, it's not different enough. It sort of feels like... I mean, I'm sure, though, that it would be even more grinding. I don't know, like, the first stage had all those exploding orbs on hard mode that really tremendously increased the difficulty, but, like, from watching the playthrough of this, stage 7, really doesn't seem that different. I feel like playing through stage 7 is, like, it's barely that different on ultimate mode. Kind of, everything still one-hit kills you. It looks like enemies are still dying, and they're not. Enemies aren't really damage spongy. Even this final boss doesn't really seem to be taking more damage. He already takes a ton of damage as it is to kill in easy mode. It seems pretty much the same. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that different. Like, that's kind of fucked up. With the game does not seem balanced. I guess what I'm trying to say is the game seems really unbalanced with this difficulty settings. Big difference in the first stage. Some of the stages do look very different, but then the final stage seems like pretty much the same. And, you know, playing through on easy mode, it was by far the hardest stage. It was crazy hard, particularly because of the final boss being very unreasonable. I definitely like this game much less than I expected to. It's not a game that I enjoyed that much. I enjoyed the earlier stages on easy mode. The first stage, when I was playing on hard mode, it's not like I wasn't enjoying it. I was having fun trying to like grind and learn that stage. The first stage has the best music in the game. I just think that the later stages they become more unbalanced and more ridiculous. The final stage is too ridiculous, and it's not really a fun stage to be stuck on because it's just like a really boring, bland stage. This is like it takes too long. It's boring. It's not good looking. It doesn't have good music, so it's like I don't really, it does drag the game down a bit. First couple stages have good music though. The visuals of the game are okay. They're not bad, certainly. And some of the bosses look pretty cool. Oh man, Gus Nation. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Like watching the video of TMR, he was playing in easy mode as well, but as we said, it's not necessarily that different. Like he beat this game in 1 hour. He didn't even notice that this game was hard. I think I'm gonna give the game a 4 and a 5. Oh, I've been forgetting to put the times down. I got to go back and add the times for all of these. But this one took us. Most of these are pretty short, I think. I mean, Morio Senki Madara that took a really long time. All right, it took. TMR took 1 hour. Took me 6.5 hours. But really, it's 5.5 hours because one of those hours was grinding the first stage in hard mode. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the game is okay. I just don't think. I think ultimately, it is too hard, and most people are not going to enjoy it. Like I didn't even really enjoy it, and it's not like it's just not one of the shooters that you want to play on the NES. There's a lot of good shooters that are hard, but also like fun. Abadox is fun, and like 1943 is fun, and Zanuck is extremely hard. Zanuck is harder than this game, but it's a more fun game, I think. Although Zanuck is very brutal, and of course, you all the compile stuff you want to play. Guardian Legend is amazing, and I'd love to play Guardian Legend again. I have played it for Fliptendo, but should play it again. You give it a 9. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I really think that all things considered, even aside from the weird unbalanced difficulty, it's not really that impressive of a game. If it was more fun to play, I would probably give it a 6, but it's like visually it's not that impressive, and musically it's not really that impressive either. So it would have been a 6 at best, but I'm honestly, because of the weird gameplay and like not really that enjoyable. And again, you just feel underpowered. I'm gonna give it a 4. And also like the checkpoints being pointless, like the live system being more annoying than helpful, stuff like that, So that's what we'll give it. Oh, but I'm glad I did play it and learn about it. I never played Burai Fighter before. And I didn't know anything about Burai Fighter. Now I know a lot more about Burai Fighter than I used to. I've gained knowledge, and that's an important thing from Fliptendo. Now I know. If anybody ever tries to talk to me about Burai Fighter on the NES, which probably no one will ever do for the rest of my life, because nobody talks about Burai Fighter. But if anybody ever does, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll have an opinion. I can talk about it now. Probably will never happen. But I've got that knowledge now. And I don't think I'm going to be losing it too soon. Cheap, there you go, cheap game. Let's see, we're going to put it in here. I'm thinking like 3.9. I mean, it's not like that trashy. I don't want to put it too low. Maybe it actually should be... Let me look at what's around here. Sun, Star Force. Star Force is like a pretty... Star Force is probably the most difficult shmup to actually win on NES. Because it's not really a game that's meant to be win. It's a game you kind of just play for score. But it's not really that great either. More so from just like being primitive though. But yeah, I don't know. Like I probably like Burai Fighter about the same as Star Force. It's probably where it should go. I'll actually put it like right here. Right under Othello. That's where we're going to put Burai Fighter. Right there. I think that's appropriate. Right there. Man, Ninja-kun Ashura no Sho. That was a cool game, but then it got extremely difficult towards the end. I remember that was pretty frustrating. With some of its weird mechanics. But it was also an interesting game. Well, I don't want to get too sidetracked. Jack Nicklaus Golf. Oh yeah, that's coming up next, isn't it? Well, I got maybe like another hour to stream or so. By the way, how are you doing, Gus Nation? Well, it's good to see you back for some Fliptendo. Deep Dungeon 4 is coming up soon. I'm probably not going to play it. I played through Deep Dungeon 1 and 2, but 3 and 4... I don't know. I guess I'll check it out. I think I probably shouldn't try to play through this one. I'm going to save my energy for Megami Tensei 2. Because these games are, Deep Dungeon 1 and 2, they're simple and short enough that you can play through them quickly. But as these games get more long, they have less appeal to me. Anyway, let's try to get a couple games done so that I can be ready for Megami Tensei 2, ready to get to it soon. Let's try to do that. That was my goal.